This week on the show, we have Heather Snodgrass, the author of A Love Letter to Reading. Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for watching. This show is all about giving you insights and showcasing brands that help you to live your best life and give you confidence. As always, I want to kickstart your morning with some motivational advice to help you to feel inspired and energized to start your day. Today, I want to talk about understanding that sometimes things don't work out as planned because something bigger and better is on the way. So often when we experience failure or the disappointment of things not going our way, we feel that it's final, that what we want just can't happen. But oftentimes, it's exactly in those times that we are being prepared to receive an even greater opportunity. I can't tell you how many times in my life where something didn't work out as planned, only for me to experience even greater joy and success, which I didn't see coming. Oftentimes, things don't work out as planned for a reason, and even if we don't know what that reason is, trust in the knowing that it is all working out in your favor behind the scenes. The next time you feel disappointed that something didn't work out as you anticipated or hoped, remind yourself that something even better is on the way. Get excited that what you want is being replaced by something even better. As Marilyn Monroe so famously quoted, "Sometimes good things fall apart, so better things could fall together." Stay tuned. Coming up after the break, let's go back to the character. I know the main character, as you mentioned, is a master assassin. How does reading, change her life?
I think it's really comes down to, number one, when she starts resonating with other characters, she really explores her empathy that she buries a lot of the time, because she's an empathetic assassin, which is pretty rare, but she has that tendency, especially when she starts at such a young age, when we all kind of have empathy. And through reading, she really is able to understand justice and what she needs to do to, redeem her life and herself.
Wardrobe provided by Le Chateau. Next up on the show, we have American author Heather Snodgrass. Heather, thank you so much for being on the show today. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for being here. We have a lot to talk about, but before we get into that, but I know before you became an author, you went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts for being an actor. So tell us about that period in your life.
Yeah, it was an incredible period of my life. I'm forever grateful for the whole experience. I really feel like it developed myself as a person as a whole. And I got to meet lots of different people from lots of different walks of life. And it really expanded my worldviews. Plus, it took me out of my comfort zone. And by being, across the country from Colorado and California, it really helped me expand all of my confidence and just helped me grow.
I love that. I mean, life is about expanding out of your comfort zone, right?
Yes.
And when I was reading your bio, what I really liked is that you said that you have a playlist for everything. And when you meet someone, you like them to make a playlist about themselves. What do you think a playlist can reveal about somebody?
I'm a lyric person. I really like to resonate with lyrics, and I love when it happens when you're listening to a song and a lyric just makes you go, wait, that's about me. I'm connected to this song. And you're either connected to the artist, which usually happens, and also you connect to other people who maybe feel that same way about that song. And I know a lot of people like music for like the music and the beats and stuff, which also can kind of help reveal their energy a little bit. But more than anything, I love connecting to the lyrics, and I love connecting to other people who resonate with those lyrics too.
I love that. I am a big music person. I love Spotify, and I'm always changing my list based on my mood, which changes very often. So I love that. I can connect with you on that.
Yeah.
And fast forward, let's talk about your debut novel, A Love Letter to Reading. It has some pretty interesting characters. Tell us about the synopsis of the book.
Yeah, so the book follows Scorpion, who is a trained master assassin. She's raised as a master assassin. For a career, she chooses pediatric oncology as a nurse because she likes to connect to the kids that give her a sense of the childhood she didn't have. And she always thinks she's on the right side of things. And she justifies killing as doing good for the world and making the world a better place, until she is assigned a target that kind of makes her second guess everything. And after a series of events, she ends up joining the target's book club and starts finding herself resonating with the characters in the books, which help her not feel so lonely. And then she comes to terms with justice and the consequences of her actions, and how she needs to take down her family's business before they take her out.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I have to ask you, how did you come up with this concept?
Well, Scorpion is a character that I've had for probably decades. She's kind of just been in my mind. Yeah. And through lived experiences and talking to other people and getting to know other people's lived experiences, and kind of deciding to write in my my love of music, my love of reading, my love of the arts as a whole, I kind of started to develop a full character that I really liked. And the story really came together through getting to know other people in the world and getting to know their experiences.
Very nice. And speaking about experiences, this book explores the complexity of the human nature and how the arts can bring out the best of us. So tell us about that concept.
Yeah, I 100% believe that arts are meant to bring out the best of us. And I believe that because the arts are all developed from some sort of emotion. And I think, I think that's what resonates with people. And whether we realize we're feeling that emotion or not, when we see or read it or hear it portrayed in some way, we connect to each other that way. And I feel like connection, especially through kindness and empathy with each other, really is what brings out the best of us.
Absolutely. And let's go back to the character. I know the main character, as you mentioned, is a master assassin. How does reading, change her life?
I think it's really comes down to, number one, when she starts resonating with other characters, she really explores her empathy that she buries a lot of the time, because she's an empathetic assassin, which is pretty rare, but she has that tendency, especially when she starts at such a young age, when we all kind of have empathy. And through reading, she really is able to understand justice and what she needs to do to, redeem her life and herself.
Mm-hmm. And if there's one thing people can take away from this book, what would it be?
Ideally, I would like to say I would love for people to take away empathy being the biggest thing, because all of our actions and decisions have consequences. And I think, from anything, maybe we say something or we do something, I think we can always affect another person's life, and we don't fully realize the power that we hold in that regard. And in my heart, I believe we would all choose to make somebody else's life better if we would realize that power that we hold. So I would love for people to take empathy away as a thing that we can all make the world a better place, and maybe choose our words with kindness at the base.
That's a beautiful message. I think that's so true, right? Empathy, even for, others, but also for ourselves. I feel like sometimes we're so hard on ourselves, and, we get down on ourselves, and having empathy is such a beautiful thing. So I think that's a great message to share. And I love that you brought so many aspects of yourself to this main character, Scorpion. I feel like, music, your love of reading. What kind of similarities do you see in yourself and the main character?
When I was writing this, I had to walk a fine line with Scorpion, because part of me wanted to go the route of writing her modeled after myself, especially, developing those similarities with like the music and the reading, and just arts in general. And she has a little bit of my sense of humor, I would say, maybe a little more than a little bit, but I really didn't want to make her too much like myself, because I didn't want to become too attached to her and I was worried if I became too attached to her, I wouldn't write some of the harder parts to write for her, as far as like her flaws and coming to terms with what she needed to do, and actually finding out she's on the wrong side of things. So I was really careful not to make her too much like myself, just so that I didn't become attached to her in that regard, and then not do her any favors in the end.
Yeah, and I know she joins a book club, and you also have your own book club, right? Tell us about your club.
I mean, I kind of do. I've tried to start it. I don't know how many people I have or anything like that, but through my website, I have a couple different pages on my site. One is all the books that I mention in this book, since it is basically a dedication to other books. But then I also have a page where people can follow along with what I'm reading and kind of what my feelings on those books are. I'm not one to really like bash on anything. So either way, I haven't not enjoyed anything I've read this year. I've been enjoying it. So I'm not sure how many people I have going along on the journey with me, but anybody that wants to come is welcome to come join me on this one, and they can always reach out to and let me know what they think.
I'm sure it's going to expand because you have a big audience. I was reading the reviews on Amazon, and so many people had such great things to say about this book and how it's really compelled them. How has it been to see all these positive reviews?
It's pretty incredible. And I'm really trying to stay in the moment with this whole thing and not take any of this for granted, because you start out on a journey like this and you want people to read it, and you're like, the more people, the better. And you think things like, well, if I could get on a bestseller list, that would be ideal. But really, for me, I'm like, if I could just touch one person's life and maybe make it a little better in some way, that's what I want. So to see all of these reviews and to see people liking it, and I've had people directly message me and tell me what they think of it, and every single message just means everything to me, because that's what I did this for, is really that connection and just helping other people feel seen and helping other people just connect, on some level.
Absolutely. And speaking about helping other people, I really created this platform to inspire, to uplift, and to really showcase that anything is possible if you have a dream, a vision, and determination. So I want to ask you, how has determination and passion played a part in your success and even bringing this novel to life? Because, so many people have ideas, amazing ideas, but, there's nothing more common than wasted talent, people not having the courage, right, to actually put it out there. So how has passion and determination played a part in your success?
It's been some time now, but there was a part earlier on where I had to reframe how I looked at failure. Because at that point in my life, again, it was pretty early on, but I felt like everything in my life at that point was a failure. I felt like I was personally a failure, and it just wasn't a good way to be, and it wasn't a good way to live. And once I kind of started rethinking what was happening, and I started realizing I wasn't failing, but I was being redirected. I was being, I was being taught stuff, and I've learned way more from failure than I've ever learned from success. And so one of my favorite expressions is redirection, or rejection is redirection. And I've kind of lived by that now. And what it did was it ultimately made me take my determination and my focus and all of that and turn it inward. So now I focus on things like doing everything out of like kindness and spreading that through the world. That's really what I want to do, and focusing on gratitude too. Some of those times they're really difficult to be grateful for, but there are other things that I'm so incredibly grateful for that are probably viewed from the outside world as like a failure. But now I'm so grateful that it didn't work out the way that I thought it was going to work out, or that I wanted it to work out. So really it just was a matter of redirecting what I was determined to do, or redirecting what my what my focus really was on, and that was to be the better person that I could be.
I love that. That gave me goosebumps because I believe in synergy, and it just happens to be that the intro of my show today is all about, when things don't work out as planned, it's because something better is on the way. And everything that you said it just fit in so perfectly to my intro without you even knowing it.
That's cool. See, and I love synchronicity like that. That's so amazing.
Yeah, exactly, right? Sometimes failure, we take it to heart and we think it's, that when we fail, we think that's final and that it's not going to happen. And it's so easy to internalize that and think that it's done. But you know what? So often something better comes along. Actually, almost every single time, something better comes along.
It really does. Like, there's so many things in my life that I look back on and I'm like, man, I took that really hard. But now I can see the path that it led me on. And I'm just so grateful for that.
I love that. And Heather, what else is happening for you? Can we expect more books in the future?
Yeah, so I have a series of short stories that I'm probably going to republish. They were up on Amazon Novella, but they took that down. So I'm thinking I'm actually going to publish those into short stories. And then I have a few more ideas for books. This story, Love Letter to Reading, was actually originally a screenplay for a limited series, which I had already written out. And I'm going to still be pursuing that as a limited series somewhere. So we'll see where that goes. But yeah, so that's what's in the works. The books that I have in mind for the future aren't really in the same genre. So I'm going to be trying a few different things.
You know what? I have to ask you, because I believe in the law of attraction. Who would you get to play Scorpion in a screenplay?
Myself, of course.
Ooh.
I wrote it for myself. I wrote it as a character that I wanted to play. So
yeah,
that would be ideal,
Yes, absolutely.
We'll see how it works out, but yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Heather, thank you so much for being on the show today. Congratulations on all your success, and keep spreading the message of kindness and love. I think that's so needed in the world.
Thank you. I agree. And you as well. You do it too. So
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. The Darriel Roy Show is available on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts.